very warm welcome to these tutorials, which will empower you to play elementary music expressively and fluently. Number one, to cultivate and maintain a deep personal connection with the music throughout all your practice activities. This is the cornerstone of fluent expressive playing, and leaving it out at any stage will negatively affect your outcomes. And number two, to play by ear as much as possible, to take the music off the page, as my American teacher Sophia Rossoff used to say, and to put it in your mind's ear for the direct expressive coordination that this produces. In each video in this playlist, I'll be offering 2 tips that prioritize these fundamental elements of fluent expressive playing. Do please check out the other videos in this playlist as they form a series and complement each other. And do please visit pianoportals.com, where you can find out more about the joyful, holistic approach to piano technique underpinning the advice I'm giving here. Please note that I'm demonstrating these activities having already grown to know and love the musical sounds of these pieces in detail. That's why I don't have the score in front of me, but I would of course start with the score or with a recording or with both if I don't actually know the music yet. Play chord to chord. This is about growing to know and love and appreciate the underlying harmonic narrative, the story of the chords. So take a phrase or section and play each chord once without any repetition. As you do so, use any combination of hands and fingers, and the aim is always to inhabit the musical flow, its character, its atmosphere, to grow to know and love its rise and fall, to put the sounds in your ears and the feeling of the music in your body. And don't just do this. Ask yourself, do the chords feel instinctively as if they grow more intense or more relaxed in each case? Every harmony, however simple, goes somewhere in an emotional sense. It's got forward momentum, there's a shape to its phrasing. Play chord to chord in any of the main phrases or sections of the piece. And when you do so, inhabit the chords, embody them, enjoy them, listen to them, and play as if you're playing the whole music, just with some of the music muted. This relates to Abby Whiteside's concept of outlining, which we'll explore in more detail in a later video. To be absolutely sure that you know the movement of the sounds within the chords, you could transpose them, but I would transpose them by ear as much as possible, rather than by simply looking at the shapes of your hands on the keyboard. Melodic discourse is about imagining that the melody is expressive speech and growing to know and love the sounds of the melodies in their phrases or phrases within phrases, as if they were spoken statements, and noticing the feeling underpinning each remark, each comment, and how they relate to one another. I would sing or hum along in each case. I am drawing on my experience of listening to and playing, knowing and appreciating a lot of classical music. For example, I'm noticing the appoggiatura type figures or leaning notes. I'm noticing how the notes relate to the meter, which is how many beats in a bar. So in this case, 2 beats in a bar. But you don't have to phrase them exactly as I do. This is about you getting under the skin of these melodies and making them your own expressive gestures. In the second main section, for example, what's the difference between this first small phrase, which rises then falls, and the second mini phrase, which does kind of the same thing but at a lower pitch and with a slightly wider gap, wider interval between the third and the fourth notes? And when the first little phrase recurs, does it have the same kind of feeling underpinning it as when it was stated for the first time? When we repeat things, we normally slightly change our tone of voice, don't we? Our inflection. And that little phrase at the end, does it tail off or does it grow? And ultimately, it has to be up to you. You've got to use your own instinct. So I would play all the melodies in this way and use any combination of hands and fingers. And as you do so, put the music in your mind's ear and the feeling of it, the flow of it in your body. And by doing this, you'll not only be getting to know the music in a flowing, engaging, meaningful, joyful way, but you're also laying the firm foundations for fluent, expressive playing moving forward. Piano Portals is a truly holistic approach, and given that, I can only go so far into it with these little snippets of advice. In these tutorials, I'm starting where I would always recommend that you start, with principles 1 and 2 of 7 from Piano Portals, which is first, to connect deeply and personally with the music at all stages and throughout all activities, and number 2, to play by ear as much as possible. Piano Portals is about meeting you where you are, not doing a load of unnecessary activities for the sake of it, but becoming the expert over time on your own playing coordination, leaving things well alone if they're already working fine, but bringing your increasing self-awareness to elements of your coordination that may require freeing up or integrating further. So there may be subtle refinements in the rest of your playing coordination that could empower you further to play more expressively and fluently. And for this, I highly recommend that you visit pianoportals.com and check out the ever-increasing range of online courses, ebooks, tutorials and cheat sheets on offer to open-minded pianists and teachers like yourself. And please don't hesitate to be in touch with any queries or questions or your responses to these tutorials. I'd love to hear how you're getting on with these pieces.